All right, all right, all right. We've landed. The highlight of my month has just arrived. Jamming with Reese Cook from Amy and the stewards. Is that right? From IntegratedMLAI. Stewardship. That's incredible. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Richard. We're honored to be here with you, buddy.
Yeah,
we are so honored.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
so which corners of the globe are we covering today? Let's try and work this out. Raith, you start. Where are you?
I'm in Dubai, UAE, Middle East.
Middle East. Okay, tick that one. Gio.
I'm in Italy, Milan.
Italy. Wonderful. Tom.
Eagle, Idaho, which is right next to Boise, Idaho, in the U.S.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, okay, we got some great views there. Reese.
Stevenage, a few miles south of you, Richard, in the UK.
Amazing. Zena.
Zaina.
Zena.
I know.
Like we spent a lot of minutes to talk my scale. So I'm in France right now in a city called Nantes.
Ah, okay. Wow. Manpreet.
India.
Whereabouts?
Which city?
India. Oh, sorry.
I know it's a small country, Manpreet.
Gujarat, India.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Tina.
I'm from Kerala in India.
Okay, so we're doing well. So we've got 3 continents today.
That's amazing.
We're missing Africa, so we need some African people to.
I am Tunisian. I'm from North Africa.
Phew! Excellent. I thought we'd missed off a continent.
I have this in my blood and my heart.
Tunisian.
So Africa is here.
Yeah, that's nice.
By the way, also Geo, she is also from
Yes, I'm from Peru.
Peru.
Wow.
So
I'm
we are covering
Italian
the whole world.
Peruvian. So
We're just missing Antarctica.
Yes.
Can do better.
we have Tom here. So.
Yeah. Geo represents 2 continents. So we're good. And I guess Zaina co-represents 2 continents. Thank God you're from Tunisia. We almost missed that. Oh, okay. Does it count if we're really, really close friends with Danny Ma? Then we get Australia too, which I know is just an island, really, but.
I think Danny Ma might finally be asleep at the moment.
that little island down there.
Yes, so thank you so much for joining. Andrew from London, hello. Great to see you. Love what you do on LinkedIn. Abhishek as well. It'd be great to hear where you're from, unless perhaps we know. Right, so today I want to learn more about, Nanam's here, great. Wonderful to see you here as well. So I want to hear about what's been happening on these Saturday afternoon, for my time, integrated MLAI mentoring sessions. Once we've understood a bit more about that, we're going to dive in and we're going to see what questions we've got that we can answer once we learn a bit more about what you do and the support that you give to people in their careers and their ideas and everything else. So Tom, they call you the father, the daddy of data. I call you the Tao of data, but if you want to be the daddy. So was this your brainchild or did this start with somebody else?
Well, yes and no. But first of all, when you asked what are we doing on Saturdays, let me answer in the immortal words of Bill Murray in the first Ghostbusters movie when Dan Aykroyd asked him how they're going to fund their new business. I don't know, Ray. I don't know. And it's because a spirit is leading us, Richard. That's why we don't have a leadership team. We're just at the bottom. We see all the young people coming, the new people coming for help. They're the kings. They're the next generation of AI. We know they're going to eclipse where we are now. So we are honored to serve them. But the spirit that's leading us, which is more important, is more together. And the reason I wasn't joking, we really sometimes don't know what's going to happen on a Saturday morning. We start with a certain icebreaker and the needs of the community lead us and we jump in and just start helping each other with that question. That I remember one day we started with a good icebreaker. We were answering some questions and then our beloved member little brother, Chantanil, throws out a little question. And we go off talking the next couple of Saturdays on the topic that he steered us on. And it's been great that way. Now, so that we preserve the brilliance that's flying around, we've formed writing teams to write posts. So we preserve the wisdom that's just flowing out of our group.
Wow. What a credible way to describe it. Almost like a grassroots way of just building. Is it called heterarchical, where you have no leadership and you just, everybody's doing everything? It's amazing. Niraj, great to see you here. Kalyan as well. Preet, data scientists running around looking to solve problems, machine learning. Okay, we're into some questions. Amazing. All right, we'll give those a minute. We'll come to those.
I want to give an answer to your other question. I realized I hadn't done it. So I can be a real chicken, and it's because I'm afraid from people that have been mean to me in the past. And by the way, I've been mean to people in the past, and I hope I've thoroughly repented. But it was Manpreet. She kept encouraging me to do more. She said, "No, you don't realize what you're giving to people," and I still don't. I need all these people to keep encouraging me. But it's not just me anymore. Gaith is an incredible teacher. Everybody knows Giovanna's a superstar in the rising. She'll deny it, but don't listen to her. And then we've seen Tina shine because she's always pushing herself out of her comfort zone. And Zaina's brilliant. We all know that. She's got a show that's going to go crazy. But Manpreet is really, she's the rock star to me for our group.
Yeah.
Manpreet, you better unmute. Let's turn to you and let's learn a bit about you. You're a rocket, always doing things. You're holding down an important job. You're creating things. You're running sessions, interviewing Raith and our friend Giuseppe. What motivates you, Manpreet?
I think I was lucky enough to do one comment that got me and Tom connected. And recently, when I started, I interacted with Tom. So he asked me, why do you want to be part of Integrated MLAI and why you want to write on Integrated MLAI? So I had written a Google Doc and shared with him. So I was revisiting that doc and I was reading it and I was laughing. What did I wrote? And I'm doing extremely other things on that. And I was laughing and I just sent him, okay, do you remember this is the first doc that you asked me to send, why I want to be, what I want to do. And it was so good to see it. Yeah, it's been great. I never realized it's been 6 months now to Integrated MLAI. Yeah.
Yeah, we're growing so fast. It's kind of like the thing. We're still trying to understand where that more together spirit wants to take us. We're letting it choose what we do. So because of that, Richard, Gaith and I felt compelled to not just teach a free YouTube class, but to use that as the fertilizer for helping guide us to write a textbook that we felt would fill some holes in the space, some things we thought needed to be really emphasized and taught but aren't. And that's no criticism to the greater community. We're still growing so fast as the data science community, but Gaith and I saw an opportunity to really give in this space. And so it's focusing on, just like other engineering or STEM disciplines have these rich methodologies, when you're cognizant of the whole data science pipeline in your machine learning development, now you're tapping into the richness and brilliance of that past brilliance that the other STEM disciplines have. Here it is. The pipeline is our methodology. Grab hold of it and use it.
That's beautiful. Tina, let's come to you. Be great to know what catalyzed you to get more involved with this. And when you've told us that as well, like how much, is COVID affecting what's going on and young people coming into careers? So tell us a bit about you and then what's going on in the market at the moment in terms of supporting people in these unusual times.
I just want to clarify, it was Tina, right? Not Zina.
Oh, were you asking Tina or Zina?
Zina.
Tina, sorry.
Tina. Okay, perfect. So basically about me, I'm currently doing my master's degree in data science from Christ University in Bangalore. And I'm also doing an internship with a company named Impress.ai, which is a startup. And it's been an amazing journey to where I am right now. And there's a lot to learn also. Personally, I think COVID has not affected the IT industry as much as it has affected the other industries, because we have an opportunity to work from home or work from anywhere because we are always connected. And this is like the COVID situation actually helped me start off or kick off my career in data science, because that when the lockdown started, that was when I started a network on LinkedIn and got connected with Tom, and that was how I started writing posts on LinkedIn. And later on, Tom gave me an opportunity to write in integrated MLAI, and that actually was a beginning of the journey to where I am right now. He played a major role in helping me get to where I am right now. I'm not saying that I'm in a really big position, but still I was able to reach where I am today just because of his help. And at the same time, Manpreet also helped me a lot in order to, think in a different way and also write posts in another way, in not in the conventional way that I usually choose, in other ways, so that I will get more engagement from my audience. And all those actually helped me in order to get the internship that I'm doing right now. This internship that I'm doing in this company, actually I got it as one of my connections, and he proposed that whether I was interested in doing this internship. And I got that visibility because I could do sessions or talks alongside Tom and Lewis, as well as write posts on LinkedIn that made that made an impact on the audience. So I feel that COVID has actually helped me in order to grow to where I am, and it was an amazing journey, and I'm still continuing to learn a lot through this mentoring
Thanks.
sessions, as well as where I am working right now.
That's amazing. Every story starts out with, and then I met Tom, and everything
Yes.
changed.
And
Thank
then I
you
met
so
Tom.
much.
That's
Really,
where
Richard,
everything
it's
changed.
probably more accurate to say COVID happened, and then we all got lonely. We all got online, and then we made a family that's worldwide.
And speaking of families, it's wonderful to see some MKAI people arriving. Vibabs said hello. Who else have we got? Ayash is here. Joe Rice, Kimberly, Edward's here as well. Yulia from MKAI, Shveta from us. So I promised Shveta I wouldn't say anything following the meme that was going around, but we were chatting about that last night. Jachendra's here as well, Snehal, so all people that we know. It's wonderful to see you. Zaina, let's come to you. We're talking about COVID, and it's great that the IT industry can still power forward and work remotely. But what about isolation and loneliness? People that have started jobs and never met their colleagues. It must be a strange time. Have you got people in the group who feel like that?
In fact, it's my case.
Wow.
I got my diploma, and while having my internship, it was lockdown. So I was obliged to do my internship from home. But, and after that, in order to apply to jobs, I had to apply and not meet the people that I would work with. So I just decided to not do the traditional way of sending CVs, a written CV. So I did a video CV, and I had a platform to publish in it. And this is how I got into LinkedIn, by the way. So I started by publishing this video CV that got me to know my company that I'm working with right now, that is called Prevision.io. And I think here, both employees and employers need to put a lot of efforts, because working from home, it helps you to concentrate, it helps you to grow, you can spend more time, have more activities, and be more free to work whenever you want, wherever you want, in the clothes that you want, and this is just magnificent. But still it's depressing, and sometimes it's frustrating because we want to interact with each another. So here, I think the effort that we would put, that we had a lot of we engaged conversations on different means of communication, like WhatsApp, like Slack, Discord. We try to go into the virtual, and for me it wasn't sufficient, by the way. And when I met Raith and Tom after having a webinar on how do we match communication skills with AI skills, I met Raith and Tom, and they told me that come and join us each Saturday. We talk about different subjects, and everyone from the mentoring sessions, I think they would bombard the comment section with yes, 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 I like talking. I adore talking about everything and anything, and spontaneous talking, when you express yourself without any barriers, without wearing any professional mask, and around different subjects. And frankly, living alone and working remotely, this was like my refuge. Each Saturday, if it is like I am going to meet a family, we are going to discuss over a lot of subjects. We don't only discuss around AI, data science. Sometimes we would discuss about anything else, like any ethical values or anything else. So yeah, and this is how, for me now, the way I'm doing it, that I'm trying to socialize more, meeting people from around the world, and this opportunity of having this mentoring session. So I started like everyone else. I want to just log in and talk. And after that, Tom gave me the chance to become a steward and just to work harder more than the others and try to organize things that we finish and end up by them choosing what to talk after the icebreaker. So yeah, this is how I'm doing things, and this is how my big family on LinkedIn helped me, and the Godfather Tom, and the God brother, right, helping me to overcome isolation.
I think you mean Godfather more in the sort of Christian sense than the movie sense, I think.
Thank you for that.
In the beautiful sense.
Movies, so let's do it.
Hey, Richard,
yeah.
I need to point out something. Just because of the way we planned this, we didn't get to bring our new steward member. By the way, we're very careful. We really are not a leadership committee. That we let the people, the new people, lead us. What do they need? But because he's just so phenomenal. When he joined our group, we thought, okay, yeah, this is a big person, but super big heart. Greg Cuquillo, sorry you weren't on this with us today, but he just agreed to join the steward committee. And we asked him, we begged him, because he was bringing it. And we were thrilled that he said, are you kidding? Of course I want to be part of it. So we're doubly blessed that he was so excited to do that.
That's amazing. He's here in spirit, definitely. That's nice. Rice, you got a mention there from Zaina. What it sounded like is that you've managed to create a safe space on these Saturdays, a space of trust, of openness. Has that just organically happened, or did you have to do some things to make sure that people felt that way in the beginning?
To be honest, I'm Richard because we worked together for many contexts previously. I think you know how I'm dealing. And in fact, with the spirit that comes from Tom, Giovanna, together when we start this with Manpreet for sure, and Tina, and after that, Zaina. There is something that if you don't have any problem to share your ideas, to give your experience and to learn, when everyone is saying you, as let's say, who start this initiative, starting from Tom, doing that, they will trust you and you are able to share the trust. When you do something, they will trust that, okay, then I'm able to do it like you. So this is, I don't think it's need a lot of preparation or a lot of ideas, because as we said, all of the guys said, that it's a kind of spirit, it's here. So since it's spirit, that, okay, we don't have to care about how to do that and how to prepare about that. Just do it as it is. Nothing to hide. So, okay, go ahead, share your ideas, try to learn from everyone, be faithful with them, and they will trust you, and we will have the same trust from their side. For me, it's like this. It's easy like this.
I need to add something, Richard. The spirit that we're talking about is so powerful, and power can present problems. So we had our first problem. We were going too long, and we were realizing people had to get on with their lives, but they were afraid they would miss something. So we decided we will cap, we'll pick up, but we'll have an after party for those that want to keep going. But you can't, now you've got to just socialize. You can't keep talking about what we were talking about, or you've got to make sure you repeat it. And the first after party was a blast. It was hilarious, actually.
That's such a fantastic point, Tom, and Rai, thank you as well for what you said. We do need to be clear on these things, and people don't want to step away. I went to a meetup recently. It's fantastic. There was no clear clarity on when it was going to end. Another hour, you know, and eventually I had to switch off. And it's a shame, you know, there's plenty of ways to approach it, and your idea to have the after party, but you change gears at that point to something different. What an amazing way to do it. Geo, you're, I guess, bringing sort of different things to this, aren't you? Different angles, and I've seen the kind of stuff you do on soft skills. What's your involvement, and how are you benefiting from this?
Yeah, thank you, Richard. I have to thank Rabbit, because I met all these beautiful people thanks to Rabbit, because I am, my background is a soft skill trainer, but my soft skills make me approach to different kind of fields. My last work was about being a community builder, and I'm still considered as a community builder. So I was trying to do that in a way in the data community, but without knowing anyone. So I was just trying to motivate people, because I was learning. So I was starting my journey in data science 1 year ago. So I was learning from a lot of people, and I was trying to give back some of all the amazing things that I was learning in that moment. So I always try to go to all the profiles when I saw people that was doing amazing things, and I was motivating people. And I remember once Rabbit wrote me a comment in response to one of my comments, and he told me, okay, so this is nice. You are a community builder, so you are doing amazing things. And from that moment, everything changed, because he always was trying to involve me in all the activities, in the virtual activities in that moment. So then I remember he was organizing his Rabbit show, and he was asking for ideas. And one of the talks were from Tom, and a Rabbit asked, which of these do you love the most? And I say Tom, but I didn't know anything about Tom. But the subject was connected with soft skills. So I said, I love that. So I vote for Tom Talks. And that's the way that I start following Tom. And then I start to follow everyone. And at the beginning, in my transition from soft skill trainer into data science, I always leave my soft skills, but I was like trying to invest all my time in data science. So, and once Asis Patel, that I have to thank him because of that, told me, but you can contribute. You are a student now of data science, but you can contribute with your soft skills background. And he motivated me to start posting about soft skills. And the response was amazing. So, and I feel like complete, because all my life, I've been working with soft skills. I'm so passionate about soft skills, and now I can share my experience as a soft skill trainer with this amazing group of mentoring session. And the beginning was like as Tom said, it was like a let's experiment here, but the more together is our guidance. So every Saturday we do a lot of things, we learn, and we do this mentoring session. But it's incredible because the best part is that sometimes mentors become mentees and the mentees become mentors. So this is something that happens during all the session, and I have to say that I have learned a lot from all our friends, from all our family. And I'm so excited because now I am doing other projects related with soft skills that make me feel happy. And my journey is, as I said, complete now because it's all my two passions, data science and soft skills.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Richard, can I go theoretical for a minute?
I'd be disappointed if you didn't, Tom.
Okay, because, if you have a doctorate in philosophy, you have to sound philosophical for a moment, right? So Gaith and I are really enjoying not just writing our book together, but we've been writing posts together, supporting each other. So history of education, history of great intellects. And we see this theme over and over again about when you integrate the intellectual brilliance of many people, great things happen. I get chills when I say Al-Khwarizmi's name. Now I get even bigger chills when I say Abu Kamil's name. These were men that were born out of the House of Wisdom. And if it hadn't been for the shift from the great Library of Alexandria to the House of Wisdom during the Golden Age of Islam, we might not have had a group of people that integrated the brilliance from India and the brilliance from the Hellenistic world. But now what are we seeing? Because we're being led by a more together spirit, that is an integrated spirit. And so obviously more brilliance is going to flow from that than if any one person is taking the stage. And I think that's why we call ourselves a steward team. We're giving the stage to the younger people, the ones that are asking the questions, because we have to revisit and think, how would we answer them? Because we know as a little bit older people, well, me a lot older, but the rest of these guys a little bit older and more experienced now, we know that we still need to rethink these things from time to time. We haven't, like Jonathan Tesser faithfully says on his post, we don't have everything figured out at our age. We're still learning and growing. So why don't we revisit these great questions the next generation's asking? And they're asking them in the context of the new challenges of our age. They're seeing it afresh with, I wouldn't say Gaith and I are cynical, but we're not as lacking in cynicism as Zaina and Manpreet and Tina, I can tell you that. So it's helpful. It's helpful to serve them, and because we grow better that way.
That's beautiful. Thanks, Tom. Reese, great to see you. Do you want to just remind us of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a data scientist at Amy, working in industry. I've been a data scientist for a few years now after training as a traditional scientist. It's a very different world. There's much less beakers and colored liquids, so there's positives and negatives, definitely. But I think really some of Geo's stuff really touched me about the soft skills and about how important that really is in data science, and I really feel that's where data science really needs to shine, particularly when you then move on to solving some of those real world problems. And it's really understanding those real world problems and understand the people who are facing those problems and understanding how you're going to work together in a team to fix that. And I really think what Geo said really resonated with me around that, definitely.
Do you think we have enough mentoring and support in the industry, Reese? Have you seen some good examples?
I think it's very difficult, and and I'd be really interested to learn more about you guys as the stewards to the speed at which the industry moves, and in some ways the industry also being led by a few major companies, particularly around cloud providers now, means that I think it's very important to look towards these grassroots sorts of things and to see how the actual users are being involved. Otherwise, it can be easy to be sort of swept away by, the direction that some people want you to lead rather than your own way.
I'm seeing that more and more, Reese, in some of the things that we're doing as well. We find that we've been doing coding workshops on Monday evenings, UK time, and now we're coming towards the end of one program and starting another. We want people who were on these sessions to be leading these sessions. That's when it really starts to get interesting, and less of the classroom format and more than everybody just saying, how do we grow this together? So thanks for being on the call, Reese. You're like me, learning about this as well, so keep jumping in and we'll come back to you in a minute for some more inputs and thoughts about that. So Jachendra says, is it available for all? Who can answer that question about access and inclusivity on this?
I actually already answered him in the comments, and most definitely, but I want to stress too, once we sensed we were growing, like I just recently checked our Slack channel. We're not at Robert's level or Harpreet's level, but our trajectory is steep. And we have started to think, okay, what do we tell people? Everyone can come, but Richard, we want to be copied. We can't meet everyone's needs in one Saturday morning session. And frankly, there's this kind of dark time zone for the times that we can meet, that Pacific Rim, Australia group. We want to be copied. Anyone wants help in how to replicate what we're doing, we'll help you. We're not afraid to be copied. We'd be honored. We just want to see the community grow closer together and grow.
Amazing. Satina, how many people typically attend, and what sort of numbers that you need to make something like this work?
Most of the time I do miss out on the sessions, my bad, but most of the sessions are just amazing sessions. Like we have around a participation of 30 plus whenever I'm in. I think others can help me out here. Like sometimes I do miss out on the sessions. We have around 30, right? Yeah, like we have 30 plus, and sometimes the numbers do change depending upon whether the people who are already in the meeting do invite their friends as well as their connections to come in and to listen. And we have an amazing group of people, and it's just amazing that we all start off with just a particular topic. For the first time I joined in, we were talking about imposter syndrome. And I could relate to that very much, because the first time when I was giving a talk alongside Tom and Lewis, I was feeling so intimidated because I would be talking to a whole data science community of professionals, whereas I am just a master's student doing and I'm with no particular knowledge or practical experience. So I was very intimidated at first in order to talk to a professional community. But Tom as well as Lewis helped me a lot and made me more comfortable so that I could come out of that shell and make myself more visible, as well as help me share my knowledge. So like that, many people do come in, and we've what I meant to say was, we start with a particular topic. We just, as Tom told, we start with an icebreaker. We give an intro to the particular topic that we are talking. And later on, we just go mute. We let the others speak, and the kind of inputs that we receive from all the participants in the meet that we have, it's just amazing. When we get the different perspectives on the same topic, it just gets so much better. So like that, that is why we call it an integrated mentoring sessions. It's just so beautiful when all those perspectives come in. We get a wider view of the same thing. So it's just so beautiful, and if anyone can come in, it would be very nice, because it would always be very productive at the end.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tina. Manpreet, Tina mentioned imposter syndrome as one of the themes. So do you set a different theme at each session, or do you start in a more of an open way? How does it work for that?
So initially when we started, we thought of keeping the name, but as Tom said, with time, it's more like anybody starts and we start talking about topics and discussing things. So now we are more close-knit. We just talk what we want to talk and share about. And initially I'll say that we were so blessed that Geo gave us such good lessons on soft skills, and it has been one of a main thing for me, that I write my weekly goals for my vision that I have in front of me, that okay, this week I have to achieve these all anyhow. And she holds amazing sessions with amazing activities. She is so awesome. Like, it was so awesome learning. And I don't know his name, how to pronounce, but he was so good at organizing the live to connecting it to YouTube. And yeah, it's everything they do is so awesome at the session.
Amazing. Zaina, can people bring a problem to the session, something they really need some help to solve? And does that tend to be a technical problem, or do people have more personal, but career type or relationship type problems?
Yeah, I think I'm going to talk more about myself in this way. For example, I was working on computer vision once, and I just reached to members of our community, and I've been helped a lot. Other persons would come for me and would ask me about things. Like, we keep always contact. We don't only connect on Saturdays. We have a group discussion on LinkedIn, as well as we are getting more and more on Slack. So we have channels of discussion. We try to keep interaction with each other and try to help each other, like technically, as well as we all, for example, for me as a data scientist and others as data scientists as well, we face problems sometimes that are just, how would I react to this? I have such circumstance, I have such problem, how would I do? And we ask each other, and here the important thing that links our community more than growing and sharing technical ideas together and soft skills as well. We have trusts. We trust each other, so we are able to share with each other ideas about anything, and even about our insecurities, things that we weren't able, such as, for example, health issues, such as depression, etc. Sometimes we found ourselves, we trust those people, we trust this community, so we talk about it, and we find support from anyone from the community. So it's not only restricted on Saturdays. Everyone has a problem. Sometimes we engage a whole mentoring session about it, and sometimes we discuss in small groups, either on Slack or on the discussion as well in LinkedIn. So yeah, so it's really, I think this is what Tom was talking about. As us as stewards, it's not our decision. It's it's the circumstances. Sometimes someone in the community would talk about subjects, and it would bring a series of mentoring sessions. So yeah, generally it's inspired from what is needed. So yeah, this is what I think.
Wonderful, Zaina. Thank you.
You're
Right.
welcome.
Thank you. Is it a mixture of So different people from different walks of life, right, who join with you together. I imagine there's some younger people, but also potentially people reskilling as well, is there?
Mm-hmm. We have like a lot. We can have data professionals as managers, students, computer science, engineers. We would have people, for example, the last time we had one of the participants was in a completely different domain, and now she's switching to data science. So we are not only one type of persons, we are so diverse, but generally we are all unified by an interest, even if it is a small interest in data science and gathering with communities in order to discuss around a lot of subjects, because the subjects are not only about data science, artificial intelligence. It's not like a session of only this domain. It's more like general. We discuss many things. So yeah.
Let me give an illustration, Richard.
Yeah.
Imagine each data science person is an iceberg. And the part above the water is their data science life. Our group is not afraid to go below the water level in our sessions. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. When I joined you a couple of weeks ago, and thank you so much for the invitation, you were talking about interviews, I believe, and techniques to succeed and to stand out. Raith, let me come to you for a quick second. That must be a key consideration for people who want to get some mentoring is, how do you get the first role or the next role and grow your career? What sort of tips have you been sharing in the group for people to be able to stand out in such a competitive industry?
In fact, I was telling you that at that time when you joined us, I was telling everybody that I'm maybe the worst one who's able to speak about the interviews, because I make a lot of interviews and most of them that was messy. And this is in fact what I told them. But at the end, I work for this, let's say, this sector for right now 13 years, starting from my graduation date, and I moved into different markets from Syria to Dubai, and I'm still working, and I have a lot of, even right now, a lot of customers, a lot of consultations. This messy person who's doing bad interviews, he was able to find his way. So this is the most important message from my side at that time to tell to everyone. But in fact, this is something when Zaina was explaining about what's happening, there is something appeared, and it's very important for everyone that whenever anyone from the family add a valuable point, everyone is, let's say, trying to see or to find a way to implement it in his life. And this is, in fact, it's very great, but also it's lets me think that it's kind of responsibility. So, because you have to be careful about what message you are conveying and what message you are receiving. So this is something that it's, for me personally, for the last 2 weeks, I'm thinking a lot about them. So even in the mentoring session, because we are preparing for the class, and also because I don't want to convey any bad message or something that can be understood in a bad way, because it's really responsibility. We are family, we are learning from each other, but we have to be careful about what kind of knowledge we are sharing. Now, from my point of view, how I started my, let's say, my career, I will tell you clearly about it. When I graduated in 2008, in fact, I worked for a very nice company in Syria. At that time, it was rising. But because I received immediately an offer from Dubai in healthcare sector, because my graduation project was about healthcare sector. So I moved to Dubai in 2010. The project was at that time is very good. And this is how it started. So mainly, maybe I make a lot of interviews, but my career, it was, I don't know how it started, but it was going directly to Dubai and moved to there. So what I'm going to say, even if we are in the university right now, we are doing our bachelor or our master, it's very important to be careful about what kind of business we are going to help, what kind of business we are going to serve, because might be your life, your career in your life. And this is what happened to me. I was focusing on the healthcare during my university, and then it's becoming my life for the whole time. So this is something maybe right now, it's the best message to tell. Be careful about what you are, and let's say do what you have a passion about it, because it might be your destiny, something like this.
Thank you so much, Raith. I remember interviewing.
One correction to that, Richard. Guy is actually a great interviewer, but he's always very critical of himself.
We need all sorts in the world, those who have the confidence, those who have a small sense of realism, and those who are humble. And I know how incredible Raith is, and he's a beautiful human being and a great business leader. I'm honored to know him and get to know the rest of you as well.
The honor is me, Richard.
So if you're not willing to talk about how brilliant you are, right, then you have to accept other people doing it on your behalf. You have to choose one of these two. So it's going to happen. Geo, I remember interviewing Scott Taylor, the data whisperer, for my podcast a little while back. And he talked about the chief data officer having to go and pitch for funds for this and budget for that, the CFO. And he reminded us that somebody like that is competing against the chief marketing officer and the chief sales officer for budget and funding. And the chief marketing officer and the chief sales officer tell stories for a living. Like, communication is their job, which gives them this natural advantage to go and put together pitches for money. How is that showing up in an industry of technical people? There must be incredible opportunities for somebody like you, consulting and leading around communication skills. What are you finding?
Yeah, I always try to get more information about how soft skills can help us to connect the business and the data science world, because sometimes are like two separated worlds. And when we work in a team, that we have to give our best results to our stakeholders, we need to build our results in the basis of a good communication from the beginning. And that's why it's important when we need, for example, to understand the business problem. It's not just to read or to receive a mail or the way that we get the business problem and just say, okay, this is a business problem, so now I have to build a model to have a result. And it's important to go deeply in the meaning of that business problem, for example. And for do that, it's important to connect with not only with our team, but with the other teams that are our stakeholders. So I think communication is not only a soft skill that is needed, I think it's fundamental for our work as a data scientist. From the beginning, during the process, and to present our results. And communication skills are not only just ask, talk, and try to understand the meaning of the messages that we receive from our stakeholders. I think is the most important is to have an active listening, because sometimes our stakeholders are not, they have an idea that the things that they want or they need to make a decision, but sometimes we, as a data scientist, we can help them to discover other needs, to complement that, and to have better results. And that's why when we are active listeners, we can understand the information that is hidden behind the message or the needs that they present to us. So I think communication is like we have to inside of the communication skills, we have a lot of skills that we have to develop. So I think some of as data scientists, we focus on the results and we focus on the model because we love to put the data and to have these results and say, wow, the accuracy, for example. No? We love to have a high accuracy to say, oh, this is working. But at the end, the important thing is this information has to be meaningful for our stakeholders. Because sometimes we do a lot of work, we are like, wow, we have done a lot of things. But the message, for example, I was following a course that is a very nice course with some videos with people, data science, that giving their own experience. And this data science was saying, we did a lot of work. We pay a lot of money to people to test our model. And at the end, my manager just used one histogram to show to the business, to the stakeholders, what was the meaning of making one decision instead of the other. So he said, we spend a lot of money and just a histogram show the meaning of all our work. So that's the key in the communication. And that's why data visualization is not only to manage the tools of visualization tools, it's your soft skills, how you prioritize the information about how to communicate. So I think that's why it's so important.
Oh, it's such incredible points. And you make me think, and stay with me just a bit longer, Gio, and then we'll get another word from Reese. So who here is speaking in English as a second language right now? If you put your hand up. Okay. Wow. And and so put your hand up if you speak more than 2 languages. Okay. Goodness me. More than 3? Goodness me. I mean, this is what I forget.
Richard, there has been a meme trending in India, which is called "Ye hum hai, ye hamara, ye mere dost hai, aur ye hamari party ho rahi hai," which actually means that this is our group, this is me, and what we are doing is party. So she was in Pakistani, which her meme is trending nowadays. So if you see this, it is something like same.
I love the Hindi movies, Manpreet, where they go in and out of Hindi and English and American, and it's just great. I love it when that happens. Gio, I was watching one of your soft skill videos.
But you should definitely watch English movie dubs in Hindi. You will start laughing and enjoying that thing.
I love the movies from that region.
Richard, I have to tell you something. Zaina is talking maybe officially 4 languages, but unofficially she is talking maybe 10, because she is able to understand all the Arabic accents. So that's something I cannot do, because I'm speaking Arabic also, but not all the accent I am able to understand.
Yeah,
Zaina,
all the accents. Yeah, all the accents. That's great.
Wow, I tried a Chicago accent last night because I introduced our host from Chicago, and she gave me a look. So I probably won't do that again. But try. Gio, I was watching one of your videos, and it auto played, and suddenly I was watching you presenting to a room of people, loads of young people, and I'm guessing it was all in Italian because I had no idea what you were saying. But I was just engaged by the session, even though I couldn't understand it, by the body language and the energy and the interaction. So I was curious about Zoom and Teams and so on. So what tips are you giving people around all the aspects of communication when we're just a little box on the screen? What tips have you been sharing for people?
Yeah, I have to confess that at the beginning was very difficult for me, because I as a soft skill trainer, I love to do what you have watched in that video, to be in contact with people, to walk around, to ask people, so be involved during the session. So when at the beginning, some people ask me to do these webinars, and I just say, okay, I can't. I don't have time because I was scared, because I think something that is important when you are a trainer is that you have to connect with people. And for me, it's easier to connect when these in-person events. So I wasn't like afraid of not being so don't achieve the goal of being connected. So it's difficult because you have to talk with the with a webcam and you can't see your people, because it happened that when you are in a session, you ask them to activate the webcam, but they prefer not to do it for any reason, but they prefer to be just to show the name. So sometimes you feel like you are like talking with people with, I don't know, with the computer. And maybe this is a limitation. But and I have to thank Guy and Giuseppe, because my first webinar was with them, and I couldn't say no to Giuseppe. So that's why
That's impossible.
Yeah. When Giuseppe called me wrote me to do this, I was thinking on saying no, but I said, no, I cannot say no to Giuseppe Bonacorso. This is impossible, so I have to do it. And then I met Guy, thanks to Giuseppe. And some tips are like, for example, when I talk, when I prepare, well, the first part is to know the audience. We know this is very, very important. And I try to feel what could be the best way of deliver the speech that I have to prepare. Because if I am talking, for example, to our integrated family, it's different to talk with a group of people. For example, if I have to talk to a group of women about empowerment, so I have to approach the speech in a different way. So I try to think about the audience and to think how to deliver this message and how to start. The most important part is the starting point. How you start the session, how you start your speech, because you have to, as I said in one of my videos, you have to grab their attention. If you grab their attention from the beginning, it's going to be very smooth during all the session. And you have to connect in the way that they trust you. So then they can feel that they can be open, because you have to connect with their minds. So they have to open their minds and don't filter the message that you are delivering, because as adults we tend to filter everything with our previous experience, and then this is an obstacle for our learning process. So we need to try to connect and feel them that they can trust. And I think that you have to present yourself as you are. So don't try to be another person. Be yourself and present yourself as someone that you want to share knowledge, share experience. You are not the one who knows everything. Maybe some of the people that is part of the session, maybe they know more than you, or they have more experience. But the way that you are delivering your session could make them to be or the one that is going to criticize during all the session, or the one who can contribute with the session in the learning process of other people. So you have to be in the way of facilitate the session. That's why the more than a trainer, I try to be a facilitator during a session. And the way of try to feel that I'm connected with them is I'm trying to imagine a group of people that is watching to me in that moment when I deliver in the session. And I try to reproduce some of the best images that I could do during my soft skill trainer when COVID wasn't part of our life. So I try to feel these emotions to charge myself with a lot of energy, because I love to transmit this energy and my passion about soft skill. And when I deliver a message, and this is something important, you have to believe in your message. So if in your work you need to transmit a message that you don't believe, it's very, very difficult to transmit the message, but you have to do it. So try to change in your mind the way to get the positive side of the message you have to deliver. In that way, you can have this energy to transmit and maybe help others to understand why it's important in that moment to accept that message. So I think this is something.
A quick masterclass you gave us. Thank you so much. Reese, a few people in the comments have been talking about projects and Kaggle and so on. I'm interested, when you get new CVs, potential candidates into AMI, I mean, AMI's what, tens of brilliant people working on data science and machine learning consulting projects, and your own systems and software that you develop. So what can they have done to have stood out above and beyond their career and their education? What sort of things do you look for?
I think the biggest thing for us is real world projects and achievements. And I do think the best thing around that would be in a business context. But then I think the second best thing is to get as close to that business context as possible. And I actually think Kaggle is a really good approach to some of these problems, because they do pitch problems quite often in a similar way that you have to deal with them in the real world. You're dealing with data that's not perfectly clean, that hasn't been recorded correctly, or that somebody's forgotten to write the date on it the whole time, and they've been recording this data for 2 years and nobody's put the date on it at all, and there's somebody begging you, we've been recording this for 2 years, and you said if you came back to us that after we've written all this down, surely you'd be able to do something. And you can't just turn around and say, well, we're really sorry, it wasn't exactly right. So I think really any real world context, and if that's been in your line of work, and you don't need to be in a data science role to be achieving that. I think a lot of roles, especially data adjacent, you can really try and inject some of that drive to make things better, I think I would put it, into a lot of roles, and we really look for that. But if you're coming completely green, which isn't necessarily a problem at all, then things like Kaggle and projects like that, or having your own portfolio, is fantastic. And the closer you've got to these real world problems, and make sure to express that in the interview as well, of we had to tackle this, we had to tackle that. And I think especially in an interview context, that's almost more interesting than the actual results. I mean, sure, it's been impressive if you've got a fantastic model that's really accurate, but we're more interested in hearing what went wrong and how you got over that.
And not everybody in your company is obviously a data scientist. You've got engineers and developers, software developers of all different kinds. You've got marketing and admin and who knows what else. What sort of interests do they have to join your company? Do they have to have a passion for AI?
I don't know if you have to have a passion for AI, but I think a little bit more generally, a passion for data, I think, is important. And I think a passion for AI and a passion for machine learning is great, but I really feel like at heart, anyone can have a passion for data, and that passion for data is really that drive to improve, that drive to optimize, that drive for efficiency. And I think some people are that sort of person, and they get a real joy through improving things, and that's really the sort of person that we're always on the lookout for. And it's always great meeting those people. Like, I really feel like meeting some of these people for the first time, you really get that drive for people to improve things.
Yes, thank you so much, Reese. I think you're absolutely right about that. And that passion that you describe. Tom, that reminds me of, I can't think about passion without thinking about you and what you do. I imagine so many people reach out to you. You're so prominent on LinkedIn. Your posts, your shares are incredible. A lot of people must ask for your time. What do they have to do? What do they have to show for you to be able to, connect with them and support them? What do you look for?
That's Richard, we're friends, right? That's absolutely hilarious how much energy you put into that question, because it's, hey, Tom, would you help me? Yeah, I'll do my best. And then if I can't help them, I just start pointing them elsewhere. But Richard, there's a statement that I didn't understand until we started doing this together. Do what you can, then do what's possible. And before long, you'll find you're doing the impossible. Gaith and I were talking for too long, like we're wont to do so often on a call. And I said, you know, Gaith, if someone had told me I'd be friends with a Syrian Muslim who's working in Dubai, UAE, writing a textbook with him, teaching an online course with him, and be leading an amazing family online, I would have said, like in a Bill and Ted way, no way. And here yet we are. And but why did it happen? A Tunisian student named Metamin reached out to me for help, trying to get an internship. And I thought, I'll just do what I can. And I started passing his name around. And he said this to me, Richard, sir, you're the only one that helps me. And I went, wow, that's not right. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people on LinkedIn that want to help. He just happened to find one of them that wanted to. But I think a lot of people are thinking, I don't have time. My life's so crazy already. Trust me, my life's crazy. If Manpreet and I are a support system to each other, and all of my siblings and children here, they're support system to me. There's just been many times I've almost lost it and needed to calm down and go, just calm down and keep going, keep helping. So I'm human, by the way. Hope that helps.
It absolutely does. And I'm sure many of us as well get reached out to.
Like I have something to add to it. So he's not a great mentor, but he's a great learner himself. You know, at this age he was learning Transformers, RL. But yeah, as he said, he's a human. So one day in morning we have a call. I have to go for work. And he asked me so many questions that I fucked at work that day. I got so frustrated at work. Eventually he understood my point, but later. But he's great.
I went nuthead on her because I was in the middle of learning Transformers, and I was confused on some very detailed points, and I caused her to doubt everything she had learned about Transformers herself. And I was just totally wrong. And I was even reaching out to other experts. They were so patient with me, but I can go crazy, frustrated, learning new things like anyone. I made myself learn reinforced learning by creating my own environment just because I wanted to understand it better. Ouch, that was hard. That was like climbing a mountain with sharp rocks and no gloves. It was just, but then I was so glad I did it when I'm not at the summit by any means, but I got to a first peak and I was able to look back and go, oh, wow, I'm glad I did that. The view is awesome now. But I'm very human. I don't feel like I am the best mentor in the world. I just, I care. That does help. And I'm a learner. And so I like to learn with others. Really, it's been awesome having we form little learning guilds here and there. And so that was the way that I met Marcin and Dennis. And now they're just awesome friends. Dennis Rothman, Marcin Baird, great intellects.
They certainly are.
Also, like if you see, Zaina and Tina still young at our career, but if you see the rest 3 of them, they're so enthusiastic at this age. Like they still have that enthusiasm to learn, and when like people ask question, what do we learn, how do we learn, I think these are 3 are such a great example that they still keep learning and they have the drive to learn. So when you have that enthusiasm to learn, you can do anything. And these 3 are like such a great example to community that if you want to learn, you can learn at any point. I just want to say that.
Yeah, so we're not on Zoom, so we've got no filters. So however we are on this call. So Tina and Zaina, let me open up a question for the both of you. We talked about being human. I mean, this world is not without its problems, and one of those is that we really struggle with people that are different to us. We all do this sort of innate in-group, out-group prejudices that show up in data bias, but of course start from us. What could we learn about connecting the world and connecting cultures from groups like this? How important are groups like this to doing that?
Zina, can I go first? Okay, thank you. So one of the things that I could learn a lot when I put myself out there, when I was putting posts, it's that I was initially very scared about the criticisms that I'm going to get over the posts that I put. Sometimes we can make mistakes and sometimes we might put out content that might be wrong. But the courage in order to put yourself out there is very important. And one of the things that I've learned over time is that whatever things or whatever criticisms you get, it is very important to filter out those criticisms, because all the criticism you get, it will have a very innate or a very precise point that can help you improve in your future. And we should always see a criticism from a very professional point of view, and not to take. It is very important not to take any criticism very personal, because when we work on the criticisms that we get, it is very sure that we will come up to be a better individual professionally as well as individually. Even when I posted my first blog, which I wrote with Tom on normal distribution, I did receive criticizing comments on the blog. But what actually that actually helped me, and what we got to know from that was that there was one area that which we could improve on, so that it would be more understandable to the whole a wider audience. So criticisms are actually very important in order to advance yourself individually as well as professionally. And personally, when you get a criticism, it is important in order to not take any of those personally, but to have to filter out all the negative emotions and to see that core point that can help you develop. So criticisms are actually like really golden if you see in one perspective, and it can also affect the people negatively if people start taking it personally. So it is very important in order to see or view criticisms from a growth mindset rather than taking it personally. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was great from Tina, but I thought I understood the question differently. It was about diversity, I think.
Yeah, I realized I was muted as well when I asked that. Yeah, I mean, in MKAI, we have conversations every day from people in different continents. We try and encourage non-data scientists into the group to explore what's going on in law and engineering and all these areas, because that's where some of the best ideas and innovation comes from. But we also have to find our common ground. And we've had one or two challenges and problems as well. We have some men who aren't as forward thinking as they think they are. So we have to just nudge them a little closer to 2021 and less towards 1981 and their views. So how do you bridge those things in your community? Perhaps you could speak to the gender divide as well, and how you make sure that women are really represented and supported.
In fact, I was living in a small community back in time when I was living in Tunisia. So everyone was, we were barely similar to each other. And I explored diversity once I came to France, where I was in an engineering school where we have in one class students from all over the world. Uh, so there, the first gap was the accents gap. Couldn't understand each other. So we try, like we had the Chinese, Indian, Middle Eastern, American, British. For me, I was North African. We had from all over the world. So the first gap was the language. We had different accents, and we tried to understand each other and have one uniform language. And after that, the culture. Everyone has its own way of doing things. And even while saying yes and no, it's different. Even the gestures of head, of hands were different. And here we need to put effort and to dare to get out of our comfort zone, of our comfort box, and try to understand others. And after that, when we have also people from different backgrounds. For example, for me, I was from a robotics background. It was my first engineering diploma, and others were from physics background. Others were from mathematics background and electronics background, and we were all like in the same class trying to learn about data science. So each of the students had different difficulties while learning. And here we needed to help each other. For example, they would help me to understand some notions. I would help them in mathematics, etc. We help each other, we complete each other. And at the end of these 2 years, I just felt so grateful because of this diversity, because diversity is so important. Even when we are working on, I remember we worked on a data science project, and it was a problem of cracks in roads, and each of us talked about it in its own way and what would be the problems, etc. So we completed each other. I think diversity is so important, either on the during the process of learning or even during work. Even so, in data science, we know all in order to have a good understanding and to have a good foresight to for each and everything, because we don't only think about the AI product while building it, how this AI product that we are building would affect others once it's out. And for me, if I am working all alone with my Arab, North African background, very specific, I won't have an idea how it would affect other people, And here I'm talking about bias, for example. So diversity is so important. And now we are hearing a lot of things about the dilemma of how biased are the AI products and how they are causing a lot of harm to groups of people and to individuals. And here the diversity is so important. If we are addressing AI products to all the people around the world with different cultural backgrounds, with different ages, with different characteristics, we need to have a diversity group. And that's what I like about mentoring sessions, that we are so diverse. We have people from all the ages, we have people from all the nationalities, different nationalities. Like as you are seeing in your team, we are all different, coming from different backgrounds. We have people from that have diverse way of thinking. So this is so important. Diversity is really so important, not just to talk about it, even while working.
Zaina, you are a keynote speaker, by the way. Have you been told this? You are born to be on the stage.
Oh, thank you so much. I have been told that, but I'd like you to repeat.
Send me a message and I'm going to book you to speak.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, go for it.
Reese, go on.
Richard, real quick.
Yeah.
Zaina does have her own YouTube channel. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to say, what it's really worth. I just say it's to die for. People ought to be subscribed to it. It's really good.
Yeah, Zaina, put the link up. Put the link up in the comments so we can get you a few more subscribers.
Now it's still private, but I'm going to put, if you want, I will put my LinkedIn link, and I share all the time on LinkedIn. Still YouTube.
Okay.
Not getting views into it.
You do what's right for you, but we're here to support you.
Thank you so much.
Reese, we've got 10 minutes to go, but I want a quick chat with Reese about the hiring process at Amy, which I've heard some incredible things about. So building on what Zaina was saying, you take real steps, don't you, in Amy, to try and remove some of the biases. I know you take a lot of information off CVs before you share them around the business, really focus on what that person can do rather than who that person is. Am I on the right lines with what you do?
Yeah, I think it's really, really, really important to try and do that. And it's not even at the CV level. I think it's really important that we continually sort of check the makeup of the teams and of the people who are involved, and in some cases really make outreaches into different communities to try and make sure that we're looking for potential good candidates from other areas as well. And it really links back to what Zaina was talking about around those different perspectives, and really being able to get different perspectives on a project is absolutely key. And I just mirror exactly what Zaina was talking about. And it's that I think it's really important to do from the early stages of a project as well, because individuals could really feel like barriers speaking up if you're halfway through a project, if you've really progressed, and they don't want to speak up because they don't want to derail it, or they don't want to put something tangential. But it turns out they might actually have something really important to say that really could change how you think about or how you structure that project. And it's really important to take that time at the start to be able to do that. And it's because of that the hiring process is so key, that you've got to really try and make sure that you're getting a whole selection of different viewpoints and different people in. And I think it's also not just from nationalities and gender. And you mentioned earlier, Richard, about some of the different roles, and I think that's also worth talking about nationality. And it's something that is maybe easier to achieve, but also I think quite important to be able to see what people from different roles think about projects, and to be able to pitch things early, to say from a marketing perspective or from a sales perspective or from Geo with more of a soft skills perspective, what's the end user going to think, and what's my consumer going to think. So really as many different perspectives and backgrounds as you could get as early on in a project or in a team as possible, I think.
And Richard, I want to add only something. In fact, even the diversity now, we are not thinking a lot about what we are building from an ethical perspective. So also people like now, for example, in my company, we are trying to have this in our teams, a person that would have look at the project, the whole process from data collection till deployment from an ethical perspective. And this is so important because nowadays data ethics is one of the projects, is one of the subjects that we don't talk about, that we don't dare talking about, even though it's causing a lot of harm and a lot of bad things, and that are leaving the data science and artificial intelligence behind, and that like distracting the trust of people in these field and the people from this field as well. And starting with my father, for example, that watched The Social Dilemma. It's a Netflix film. And I told this to the mentoring session last week. He watched this film and he told me, I saw people working like you. Are you doing the same? Are you really doing the same? Are you paying attention? And I was like, yes, Dad, from a perspective, I try to do my best. And he was like, are you doing this in practice? Yes, we are trying to do so. And this what motivated me to now work on this project in my company and try even to include it more and more during the building of an AI product, or while even having a relationship with our customers, or even between each other while as data professionals or as employees and colleagues. And this is so important. So yeah, I think you should have a show about this. It's a great subject.
Just real quick, can y'all hear that? The House of Wisdom from the past is applauding everything we're talking about, the diversity and what Zaina just said. I think, you know, the Library of Alexandria was amazing and its community was amazing, but it really wasn't as diverse in its thinking, I'm finding, as the House of Wisdom during the Golden Age of Islam. They were the larger integrators. Anyway, the integrators of this diversity, like Reese was stressing. Thank you, Reese.
Yes, thank you for all those comments. Zaina, you're such a powerful voice for this, as I've just been saying, and we're about to go and pitch a book around that new rethinking data monetization. We're going to send it around Wiley and Scientific Publishing and so on, and see if we can get a taker for this.
Let's do it, Richard. It's going.
So you know, I'm coming to you for some quotes. You better believe it.
Yeah,
we've got 3.5 minutes left. What calls to action do you have? What do you want people to do that have been watching this?
I think after reading the chat, I'd love to see people who've asked, how do I get started on this project, or how do I go out and start something? Just go out and do it, start it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail. Get going.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reese. There's obviously limited people that you can handle in your integrated MLAI mentoring sessions. It sounds like at 30, you're already probably getting to where you can be. So is the call to action now for new leaders to establish new times and new sessions and build on this and cross the bridges between what you do and what they can create in replica of the great work that you've been doing? Is that one of the asks?
I believe so, Richard. And I want to hear Gaith too, but I want to call out to the older people. I know you've been beat up. I know you think you may not have much to give, but I continue to be shocked how just being kind and encouraging and saying, yeah, you're going to learn a lot of hard lessons. Let me help you as much as I can. If you're over 50, you have a lot more to give than you realize. And so I want to encourage you to be brave and come to me if you want, and I'll help you copy what we're doing. We would even be excited to see you be a little unique from us so we can learn from you. And I want to hear Gaith.
Okay. In fact, it was in our plan from the beginning, from day one, that you don't have to, let's say, to be afraid about having a lot of people joining, because it might be replicated easily. We have a lot of experts, they might join us, so no problem about that. The most important thing for me that maybe, yes, be ready to help. And this way you will get helped. And this is what Tom, let's say, this is the lesson from Tom, lesson from Richard. I have to tell you, Richard, you helped me a lot also. So from Giovanna, from everybody. This is the most important part. Be ready to help. Then you will get helped.
As for me, I want to say for all the young people, old people, I don't care about age. So all the people, if you are passionate about something, just have confidence in yourself. Even though you are going to do bad in it, start with print hello world and everything is gonna be fine. Just believe in yourself. There are a lot of resources out there. Try to communicate with people that would share the same interests as you, and believe in yourself, and everything is gonna be fine. And also, if we are also talking today about the mentoring sessions, not just to be exposed and telling, hey, we are helping people, we are angels. No, just to be copied and to tell you that it is possible to impact, even starting from a limited number of persons. And you have a computer, you have some informations, share them, and people would share with you. And this is like this, we are going to learn and grow together. That's all.
US presidents have imposter syndrome. Hollywood superstars have imposter syndrome. Marilyn Monroe had imposter syndrome her entire career. We wouldn't have an industry if we weren't able just to go, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to try it out. We've hit time. Thank you so much. Rai, thank you. Geos, thank you. Tom, thank you. Tina, thank you. Manpreet, thank you. Zaina, thank you. Reese, thank you so much. 8 of us.
Thank you, Richard, for inviting us. And
it's my
for all the
pleasure.
persons
Thanks to you, Richard.
that
Thank
interacted
you.
with us. Special thanks to the mentoring sessions.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
See you soon.
Yes.
Cheers.
Bye,
Bye.
family.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.